Mr. Ponchenko. We bring grave news. Economic collapse is ravaging the nation. Very low, and the military has stopped being loyal. What should we do? My answer is simple. I resign. I don't really care about this at all. But there is one hope. Hello, France. Yes, Ukraine. Can you forgive the debt? Yeah, no. We won't forgive the debt. The debt's the debt. The forgiving of the debt is a big problem. So yeah, please just stop. Poland, will you forgive the debt? No, 100% no. 500 cigarettes and minutes later. Looks like I'll have to resign, and I resign. Okay, yep. So the clip that let's see what's happening in Ukraine. Firstly, Ukraine is going to collapse. In the south, a military government has been established for all the underpaid military workers. But even then, the how it dissolved is even weird. It's still weird. Just weird. The military government, the fact is, not only did the resignation, but most parties actually didn't want Ukrainian. What these actually, because of the debt. The debt's the problem. The debt caused the whole collapse, and the joint alliance between the people and the ruling elite to dissolve the Ukrainian Republic. And someone will have a government here. And in the west, the Russian government has been established, and in Galicia, Volhynia has been established under Soviet control, only by transition soldiers. Have also moved out into Volhynia. In the Western territories, a large chunk of pro-Russian sentiment, pro-Russian rebels revolted on the Ukrainian borders. And the nuclear cult rules in one of the areas. This actually happened because Ukraine was in a debt crisis. No, literally. What the new government does is not very popular. Nobody likes the new government. But it's not really full civil war. It's more of a warlord period. There's a lot of pro-Russian sentiment, and also a bunch of communists in the Volhynia, which is not going to be very popular. There's gonna be surely anarchy. The nuclear alliance quickly starts by invading the Ukrainian Nazis. The Ukrainian Nazis, however, are quickly able to coup the government, and with Kiev they are able to strike back. And the real reason Russia didn't intervene is because it's going to its own economic crisis. By the way, most of these areas also identify as Ukrainian, but are controlled by pro-Russian groups. This would cause the nuclear army would quickly start destroying them. And Ukraine, the military government in Zaporozhye has become the new Cossack state. In Odessa, and the neutral government is established, and the Volhynian commune is currently at war with the Russian Republic, with the West Ukrainian Republic. The West Ukrainian Republic is able to push the Russian Republic that far, causing the establishment of the Volhynian Republic, which is a puppet state of West Ukraine. The West Ukrainians and the war. But during this war, multiple actual powers joined in, such as the Polish, the Moldovans, the Belarusians, which are the only stable country from the as the descendants of the Kievan Rus from this, and so what happens here? Poland, which is practically prospering this timeline, I said for birth rates, of course, they are doing very good, and also and the Belarusians start an invasion of the west of the Volhynians. The Moldovans declare war on the Odessa government, mostly due to the Odessans being pro-Transnistria, mostly because they are fucking Transnistrians. But eventually, a treaty signed where just Romania annexes it, a large chunk of land. The Ukrainian neo-Nazis are not doing actually very good, with the nuclear empire being their fierce rival. They also decide to circle a bunch of units in Kharkiv. Russia, on the brink of collapse, launches a last-ditch effort for stability and into reinstating its war economy, with the invasion of the nuclear cult. The neo-Nazis still are actually a thing, even though starting out as about 4%, they are one of the remnant. However, against the actual Ukrainian military, the Russians do worse. The Russians quickly lose Crimea and get pushed in the Donbass region. The Greater Cossacks, this is the Odessa government, which has become the Free State of Odessa, gets invaded by the Ukrainian militarists. Yes. The Ukrainian military quickly takes over the country, annexes it, and moves on. The Ukrainian military is also not static. Has also been able to capture Rostov-on-Don and started moving towards Sochi. Eventually, in Georgia, the troops decide to ally with the Ukrainians, establishing a pro-Ukrainian alliance, mostly to protect themselves in the Caucasus, and a bunch of northern Caucasian states join in, and even some Kalmyk rebels. However, they are really easily defeated because they are literally just horse archers with guns. Sometimes. Okay, they don't have guns. Rostov-on-Don also gets quickly retaken by the Russian military, but with this even though it's gained a lot of land, the main victories were from Belarus, Poland, and a bit of Romania. With the Ukrainian neo-Nazis being pushed on every side, they just surrender. The Ukrainian neo-Nazis collapse. Only survivor state is the military government. The military government also decides to attack a bit, but the Russians also collapse. Eventually, the Treaty of Rodinia is signed. With the formation of the Greater, the treaty makes it so that there are two new. The Polish autonomous territory of the formation, the Polish autonomous territory of Uzhhorod and West Ukraine are West Ukraine is mostly Polish and is mostly Polish, much similar to Puerto Rico, but it was in all practicality independent. The Belarusian state Kiev, however, and the nuclear empire is able to take the north, being reinstated as more of a buffer state between them and the newly collapsed Russian Federation. Poland also does annex West Ukraine. Uzhhorod is given to Hungary. So yeah, Ukraine kind of collapsed. They just did collapse. With a massive partition on the nation state with the remnant, so the Ukrainian army by this point has become is the only stable regime so far because they had neo-Nazi there. The new government is more of a pan-Cossack one with more Cossack heritage instead of Kiev and Rus heritage. So yeah, when Russia collapsed, they quickly they didn't just retake the Donbass. They moved all the way to Astrakhan. They did allow for a long, but the port of Sochi. The port of Sochi territory would be given to Georgia as a shared territory, but more under Georgian control for the Georgians to actually gain something in the UN at least. And by the way, because of the Russian collapse economically, this would cause the failure of the UN Security Council, and after the fall of the UN Security Council, it would get the UN quickly collapses with no Security Council, while with many other independent organizations start out with the so-called the international green alliances start being formed. These are groups of green people, Russia, however, the remains got absolutely destroyed, same with the old Ukrainian government. Finland would also get a bunch of land with the Free Karelian state being one of them. Luckily, they were able to get Murmansk before they nuked everybody. Murmansk was for a period a mad state. And for example, a massive rivalry is between Novgorod and the Free Ingorian Empire. The Democratic Freedom of Russia region still controls a lot of land, but they aren't really recognized. The Tsar and a bunch of neo-communists rule over the north, with a bunch of small states and Greater Tatarstan, along with the Orenburg Cossack coast. And let's also not forget about Siberia proper. Siberia collapses between the Saksa Republic, which would control the east, the West Russian Republic, the Greater Buryat Republic, the Tuvan Republic, Oyorosha, and the Siberian Confederation and the West Siberian Communist Party. So yeah, that's actually what we'll be leaving this episode with, and thanks for watching, all of you. Thanks very much. Thanks. I have to give it to you, people. I hope the intro makes it a bit better, but still, thanks.